So I guess, are you admitting people, Mike?
There is everyone in already. Hey guys, how are you
Nice.
doing?
Hi, welcome.
Hey guys, hey everyone.
Hello, hello.
Hey, everybody.
So while we're waiting, actually, I do have a question of the day for everybody. Since we have been discussing internally a lot, what do people prefer to use in their applications? Is it a light mode or a dark mode? It would be super cool to know. What do you think? Yeah, just feel free to discuss on voice in the chat or just answer the poll. I think it's always
Go dark mode myself.
Dark mode all the way. Yeah, I feel like it's easier on the eyes. That's why a lot of people prefer it.
I think Fran likes light mode though, strangely enough.
It's hard too, because like when you search something on Google, like other websites aren't necessarily in dark mode. And so your eyes aren't adjusted to it when you switch from like Slack in dark mode.
Yeah, true.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm on dark mode when I'm at home with my workstation, but light mode when I'm traveling with my laptop, just because of contrast in cafes. It's much easier with light mode.
Oh, that's interesting, actually. Yeah, on a bus or a train or something, it's better to have it on light mode, probably. Cool, I see 83% participated. Let's see, I will give like a few more seconds to answer, and then I'm going to reveal the big answers, the results. And okay, I'm gonna end it and show you the results. So basically it is all the way dark mode. So that's the preferred way to use applications, I guess. Personally, I relate as much as you do. So great.
Well, we're lucky that we are going to have that feature most likely
Yeah.
in the new dashboard. So maybe VJ can tell us more about that. So probably good direction.
Yes,
I think we can kick off, Victoria.
Yeah. So since we do have a packed agenda, let's kick off. Here is the agenda for today. So Fran is going to give a brief overview of the Superfluid Reactor that we just recently launched. And then we do have a summit coming up tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. VJ is going to give a product roadmap update to see where we are. Meow is going to do an overview of Hot-Fuzz protocol tool for you to understand how to test your Superfluid applications like a pro. And then we do also have a guest speaker today on the call to do an introduction to Echidna. He's Gustavo from Trail of Bits. And then if we have some time in the end, we're going to do a Q&A as well. Great. And then Fran, if you're ready to kick off, to take the stage.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for joining every time. It's cool to see how many people show up. Victoria, maybe I can share my screen?
Yes. Should I start with?
Where is this? Cool. Okay, I'm going to jump right in. So first of all, I'm going to talk a bit about the Reactor. So the Reactor is something we've been actually working on for a while. We've been helping a lot of projects in the Superfluid ecosystem to get ready for the market, prepare their product, fundraise, but we never formalized it, right? That's something we kind of left for later, right? The first people we were helping, we were just learning how to do it. But we realized that actually some of the projects we helped were extremely grateful for this, first of all, and very successful because of it, right? So we decided to take all of our learnings and put them into a package that we could then kind of repeat with new projects. So basically, the Superfluid Reactor is an attempt to speed up the adoption of a real-time finance. So to speed up the adoption of Superfluid and increase the speed at which companies built on Superfluid can grow. We do this by basically doing all the normal things an accelerator does, right? So technical guidance, product refinements, marketing support, go-to-market. And one thing that we do very well are introductions, right? So for a lot of people that come into the space for the first time or haven't been around for that long, they don't know people, right? They don't know our founders. They don't know who could be potential customers. They don't know investors, right? Most of our team has been in the space for a very long time. So we know people, and those people are looking for the solution that you're building. So we can make those connections. And we can also connect you with investors, which obviously is a great thing for anyone who wants to raise money. So these are the things we do. Again, it's very, very close to an accelerator, except we don't take any equity. So the reason we do this is to expand the adoption of the ecosystem. We don't do this to profit in any way. So there's no equity that we take. We also don't have any funds available, right? So it's just our time we're investing in helping you. But what we've seen is this is very helpful. So we will keep doing this. In a few occasions, some of our team has invested personally into some of the projects. So overall, so far it's been great. We hope to see more and more projects join. So if you're interested in joining, go to reactor.superfluid.finance. There's a very simple sign-up form. If you've done a hackathon before, or if you have a proof of concept or a website or whatever you have, post it there and we'll get back to you. The people on the team who will help you are mostly me, Yao, Sam, Sunny, Joshua, and then other people in the team as needed, right? So we'll be able to pull in expertise when it's necessary. So yeah, that's it about the reactor. If you tune in tomorrow, I'll talk a bit more extensively, but effectively, this is what it's about. So tomorrow, what's happening is the Superfluid Reactor Summit. So this is an occasion that we've been looking to organize for a while with Eve Global, and it just so happens that we're doing it during Hack Money. So it's going to be an occasion for a lot of different players in our ecosystem to come together and talk about what they've learned, right? Again, trying to accelerate the adoption of real-time finance. We have a lot of different people, both from partners, people building in our ecosystem. There will be some talks from people in our team, but overall, we're trying to keep this quite open and get a lot of people with different experiences, right? It's not just us talking. So trust me, it's not going to be just us. In fact, I'm just doing the introduction and the closure. I'm not even talking at all. So you don't have to hear me talk. So the talks that you'll see, the most interesting ones. So at the beginning, we're going to have free talks from our ecosystem. So we'll have Tony Rosler from Diagonal, Sunny from Ricochet Exchange, and Herbal from Huma Finance. So obviously, if you've been around our ecosystem, you've probably heard these names before. But during these talks, they're going to give you their perspective, and hopefully you'll learn something. So I'm definitely excited about these talks and curious to see what they've learned on their journey in building real-time finance. So definitely tune in for these. After this, we'll have a couple of talks from the Superfluid team. It will be Michele talking about what an interconnected Web3 economy looks like, and Meow telling us a bit about the future of the protocol. Apart from these talks, there will be two panels. One of them will be about Web3 native businesses. So it's mostly from people who build tooling, right, for these businesses. And what we have are people from Request, from CoinShift, from Unlock Protocol, and of course, Kartik from ETH Global will be moderating, and Michele will also be participating. And in the other panel, we're going to talk about the future of on-chain payments. So here, we're lucky to have people from MakerDAO and Circle, which are obviously the biggest stablecoins surviving. And as well, I'll be participating, and we'll have, again, Kartik being the moderator. So I'm very excited about both of these panels. I think we're going to have some really cool conversations going. So definitely tune in. As said, this will be basically tomorrow. It will be on ETH Global TV. So you'll be able to, even if you join late, you can go backwards and hear all of it. So definitely tune in, and it'll be great to see you there. And I'll meet you in the chat. There's a chat there. You can put your name right during the thing. All the talks have a lot of time for Q&A. So if you have any questions, for example, for Meow about the future of the protocol, or maybe for some of our guests, you can join in, and in the chat, you'll be able to ask your questions. All right, well, that's it from me. Back to you, Victoria.
Yes, thank you, Fran. I will put the link, the event link into the chat as well, so you can set a reminder for yourself, so you're not going to miss out in a minute. Any quick questions for Fran before we move on? If not, then I will hand over to Vijay.
All right, cheers, thank you very much. I'm just going to quickly share my screen. Here you go. So hopefully for those of you who've been following along, you've noticed that we have been working on a dashboard v2. And as you know, this is kind of one of the highlights of our user-facing products. And so we're putting a lot of energy and effort into making it the best it can be with this kind of second iteration. And pleased to say that progress is coming along great. We have got this dashboard up and running, and as our user test will tell you, it is fast, it's snappy, and it's got a beautiful dark mode as well. And all the other things you can see on our public roadmap page at roadmap.superfluid.finance. And I'm excited to say as well that we are still aiming for our public launch at the end of Q2. So I hope to hear more about that very soon. And yeah, just general thanks to all our user tests who've signed up so far. I'm going to paste a link in the chat because it is not too late to sign up as a user tester. We've got weeks remaining on our kind of initial batch of user testing, and you can go and sign up there for a chance to get early access and sort of help us shape this with your feedback. Set some time with us, and in general, give us your help us find bugs and corner cases and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, and this pop up on the right hand side will be yours if you make it into that cohort. And there is still some time left for that. So just check that link out. And yeah, just another kind of call to action here is to go and check out our roadmap. It is at roadmap.superfluid.finance, and you can see we've added a bunch of extra fields here. So if you're interested in the dashboard, you can comment on that. But if you're interested in the console, our SDKs, or even when we go and deploy next, you can go and give your feedback and make your suggestions there, or upvote the things that are already existing there in the roadmap. And we'll try and keep you updated there as well on the progress. So all of these are linked through to our GitHub. So as we're merging stuff in, you'll see it update in real time. So yeah, check out our roadmap at roadmap.superfluid.finance and sign up to be a tester of our dashboard. Appreciate all your feedback. Cheers.
Thank you, Vijay. Super cool to have dark mode coming. As we learned, a lot of people like dark mode. And also, yes, if you sign up as a tester, we have like a special discussions on Discord. So feel free to join in and leave some feedback and join the discussion. And yes, we have also a poll up. Have you voted or requested any features on our public roadmap?
Yeah, I got cut off a bit there, but public roadmap.
Yeah, sorry. Yes, just give a couple of more seconds for each answer, and then I'm gonna share the results. All right, I think we are good to go. And nice. So a couple of you want to have voted or requested any features, but some of you will take a look, which is great. Feel free. Definitely, it will help us a lot. And some of you didn't even know we have a public roadmap. So now you know. Great. Nice. And then next up, do you have any questions, quick questions for Vijay, or can we move on? If not, then I would hand it over to Meow.
Yeah, hi. Sorry, just yeah. Give me a moment. So, can I share a screen, right? Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'm gonna introduce the Hot-Fuzz, a new protocol tool that developed for you to test Superfluid applications, including super apps, right? So I was trying to swap to my background, but I don't think I want to try now. Just a moment. Yeah, so it's a what is Hot-Fuzz? So it is a testing strategy that you didn't know you wanted, right? So let's start with that. So why you want it, I'm gonna go through quickly. So your existing strategy, let me take a guess. What are they? So, well, testing production, I heard of that. So peace, right? So, and functional test cases, think about what to test, right? Then you write isolated test cases and you check against the coverage reports to see if the code should be covered, is covered, right? So that's also a common strategy. Then you do property-based testing, you randomize input values, you run a fixed test sequence against invariances, or you can call it expected behavior. But we're talking about another testing strategy today. So it is generative. So it randomizes the test sequence too, so not just the inputs. Declarative, so it defines what's possible and what's expected. It's also intelligent. It can discover a complex sequence that may lead to exploits, right? And it's unlimited, so you can run as long as you can afford to. So hopefully one day it will find something for you. So the Hot-Fuzz is here, right? So the testing Superfluid applications, including super apps, like the Pro. So that's the pitch. Behind the scenes, so basically it is a critic Echidna. It's a tool built by Gustav, who will be introducing this tool shortly after my talk from 12 bits. What Hot-Fuzz does is basically adding additional Superfluid testing boilerplates, helpers, and workarounds to make the tool work. So that's what's behind the scene. Yeah, so I'll do a quick demo now before I leave the floor to Gustav, who actually made the tool. All right, so I already ran it, right, because it took a few minutes. I didn't want to waste time. So currently, I'm testing against one of our most used example projects called Tradable Cash Flow. I don't know, can we make an impromptu poll? How many people know about Tradable Cash Flow in this call? Can we do that? Do we do a poll? No? Okay.
I think we can, but we can't. Well,
or maybe just in the chat, you say, if you know what is tradable cash flow, just say yes, and in the chat, I'll be a good signal anyway. Anyway, so the writing a new Hot-Fuzz test case is quite simple. So it'll be roughly, okay, this is one, so tradable cash flow.hot.so. So it'll be around 100 lines of code. Actually, this is coded yesterday in a live code session. So I think the video will be available on our YouTube channel, Protocol Forum. So you might want to check it out in a few days. I think it will be appearing in our YouTube channel. So what you do is that you define, as I said in the previous slides, you define what's possible to be done for your super app, right? So in this case, you can aping or checking out, basically sending string to the NFT, or you can dump it to some other, right? So you can do two actions, right? So it's randomized the combination of these two actions by the Echidna tool, and you define a bunch of invariances, basically what's expected behavior. So the app should never be jailed, right? And the app should not rug you, right? It basically means that the app should never have any positive net flow. And the hodler should be the one that gets all the string. So that's the property of this particular app. So I injected an error in the code and I ran the tool just to showcase the issue, right? So it shows that a simple test sequence, like someone aped in and the guy dumped to someone else. The next guy tried to dump to somebody again, but it didn't work because somehow the second guy did not get all the streams. So quite unhappy about it, I guess. So we need to now fix the problem, right? So let's fix it live. So let's go to the code. Let's find out what the heck happened. Oh, so someone commented out this code, so code review probably didn't go through. So let's comment this out, right? So you actually need to change the receiver when you when you change the receiver, as function name suggests. So let's rerun the test. In our YouTube, okay, actually didn't print. That's fine. Let's run it now. So we fix the code, and now we run it too again. What's expected is that we shouldn't see error case anymore. You should just see all the invariants always succeed. Right? That's a good sign. Right. So let's see what happens now. It might take a minute. So if anyone has like a quick question, happy to answer.
Maybe for those of us here that don't know what fuzzing is, can you just briefly explain why you'd fuzz something or what it's actually doing?
Yeah, so what's actually doing, I will leave to Gustavo for more details, but in general, what it does is that it randomizes the actions possible to be done for this super app in any sequence you can imagine, and the tool will just explore all the sequences and try to find a case that against your expected behavior from the app or in general, right? So that's kind of yeah, it's kind of like a stress, but not for the load testing per se, but it's actually testing expected behavior against lots of randomized sequences.
So yeah, to perhaps to give a simple example. Hello, I'm Gustavo. When you do a unit test, you put concrete values. So you do action 1, action 2, and then you check something. So all these values are fixed. With fuzzing, you can replace the fixed values by some variable, right? By some variable value that will be randomly generated. Of course, you will need to create a property. For instance, the balance should never be 0, right? So, and what you can do is you can let a tool like Echidna to run and to try to see if it can the test, if there is a way to break the test, if there is a way in which the test revert or is returning something that is unexpected.
Yeah, great. Thanks. You will have a chance to explain a little bit more in detail of that, but just show you that after changing the code to the correct code, now that there's no error anymore, right? So far, right? There's no definite proof yet. The more you run, the more complex app, the more chance you can actually find some error cases, right? So far, now we fix the problem live. Now it's all blue. Blue is good, right? So yeah, so that's the demo. I'll leave now to Gustavo to give more details about Echidna, I guess.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah, I'm Gustavo from Short of Bits. I was in contact with the Superfluid team regarding the use of Echidna, which is an open source smart contract fuzzer, which is available to everyone and free, and anyone can download it and use it. There's no charge for that. So yeah, I will be sharing my screen. Let me see. Yeah, let me see here. Yeah, let me share my screen. Okay. Okay, so can you see my screen, right?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, great, awesome. So yeah, as I was saying, Echidna is a smart contract fuzzer. The idea is it will randomly generate transactions, given that you provide smart contracts to test. with specific scenarios in which there are a number of users, there are tokens, there are Ether. So the thing that you should provide to Echidna is a property, what we call a property. So in this case, there is this very simple property: balance should be more or equal than 20. This is because smart contracts don't have any error state. They don't have a crash. So when you run programs in your computer, if they crash, that's something bad, right? But with smart contracts, it's a little bit more tricky to define what is good and what is bad. So what we did is we allowed NAs to expand smart contracts with Solidity code, that is the same language than the smart contract, in which you can define invariants. So properties, global properties that should always be true, right? So if they are true, it means that your system is running fine and there are no issues. And if they return false, or if there is another error or like a revert, then Echidna will report this. Yeah, so we have a very nice demo. You can see some other screenshots in the website. So one thing that so once Echidna finds an issue in one of your invariants, we usually test with 100 transactions. So if you develop smart contracts, you know that debugging 100 transactions can be a little bit like a challenge. So what Echidna will do is called input minimization. It will try to reduce the number of transaction calls into a minimal, keeping an eye on the actual property that is tested. So it will remove anything that is not relevant to the failure. So you can actually see why what is the minimal amount of transactions that you need. And it will also try to simplify inputs if there are some, because it will basically test random values. So if you need, if you can use 0 in a value, it will try to use 0. So it's easier to know when inputs are not useful for reproducing an issue. Okay, yeah. Another thing that is also really important, and I think your tool is actually doing or should be doing is coverage. So once you explore, you run a fuzzing campaign, you want to make sure that the code is actually executed, right? So one thing that Echidna will do is it will print at the end of a fuzzing campaign which are the lines that are covered and how they're covered, right? Because it's not the same when you cover a line with the revert, having a revert at the end, or when you cover without a revert. So clearly, we want to make sure that lines are actually covered, because otherwise, if you run, let's say if you run for the day, but it's always reverting and it's not actually reaching part of your application, then you're not getting a good value of this. So you're mostly getting a false sense of security, because it will run for a certain time, but it will not explore what it should be. So Echidna will just show the source code, the complete source code, with these markers that will show you which are the lines that are marked, which are covered, which are the ones that are not. All right, so it will support a variety of framework, including Hardhat, Truffle. There are some documentation. We try to keep the documentation up to date. We are happy to have users providing some feedback, or even asking for new features. There are some JSON output as well, and the last thing I wanted to mention, we use this on a variety of smart contract audits, and there are other DeFi applications using it. So we have a list of projects that test at least part of their code with Echidna, as well as some public reports, because Trail of Bits is basically a cybersecurity company that has a large blockchain auditing team. So we use this tool frequently, and you can see reports where this was used and how it was used. All right, yeah, and then there is a couple of academic papers in which we frequently publish our results. We try to stay in the state of the art. All right, thanks a lot for the invitation. Wanted to know if there are any questions.
There was a question in the chat.
Yeah, let me check that.
It was, is the number of test cases run dependent on the system configuration? And is there a way to run tests in cloud?
So the user should control and give a good, a reasonable amount of test sequence, a number of transactions. So if you have a more complex system, you should use larger values. But this is a matter of budget, like how many hours, how many servers you have to run this. So you can configure it, or you can do a quick test if you want to. If you are developing and perhaps the code that you are testing is not the final code, you just want to know if there is a quick way to break the properties. So yeah, the other question related with cloud. So Echidna can run in dedicated servers. We don't have like a specific native cloud, like using the Amazon cloud or the Microsoft cloud. We don't have that, but it's really simple to install it in a Ubuntu server or in a Linux server and just run it from there. So it's and we have a companion tool which is called Echidna Parade that allows to control a number of instances of Echidna. So if you have 10 CPUs, you can just run in the 10 and they will sync the result in a single directory. So we are starting to build some framework around the cloud for this.
Nice. Is there any other questions for Gustavo? Now's your chance. How did you pronounce the tool name? Echidna?
Echidna.
Echidna. Oh, cool. Echidna.
Yeah, we have the tradition of name tools like animals. So we have other tools that has animal names.
Oh, that's why it's called Manticore. Was it Mantis related?
No, Manticore is an animal, but it's a mythological animal, so it's a little tricky.
Okay,
Nice.
now I see the connection.
Yeah.
I actually have just a question regarding memory usage. Do you think there's something inherently that the way it's written can't use a lot of memory, or is there any way to kind of reduce or I don't know what's the nature of it, because I ran once against some test sequence I wrote, it did use a lot of memory. Do you have any comments on that?
So we are investigating some of the large memory requirement. We saw it when there is a very large sequence number. So we have 100 transaction. If you put 1,000, it will use more memory. However, in some cases, even with that value, it can use a lot of memory because of the AVM implementation that we are using, and because of the fact that Echidna tries to saturate the memory of the of the smart contract that is used. So it tries to use as much memory because it means like you are actually doing something with your contract. So, and that can be a little inefficient to handle. That's why we recommend, if you're doing fuzzing of a very large application that has a lot of state variables, to use a dedicated server when you can let it run and it will be a result.
Do you have a recommended memory number? Like,
yeah, I would say that if you want to be comfortable, at least 32 gigabytes of memory. So you don't have to. I mean, it's very rare. It would mean like there is a memory leak or something that it goes above that. But yeah, if you want to have like 10 Echidna instances at the same time, and each one is using a few gigabytes, then you should be careful.
got it, thanks.
All right, thanks again for the invitation. Yeah, we are happy to have new users of our tool, and wanted to invite you to, if you have any issues, contact me, or you can use the issue tracker that we have.
Yeah, so I just want to comment on that quickly, is that the Superfluid protocol is a developer platform. So there are a lot of applications built on top of it. And the reason to kind of pushing for this is to have more and more application test with this technique. And hopefully that can discover more, discover issues before it happens when deploying to the mainnet. So I'll definitely keep you in contact about this, and we'll actually push the usage of it a lot. So yeah, expect more inbound requests.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Gustavo, for joining us today and presenting. Any other questions for Gustavo before we move on? If not, let me share my screen again. Can you see my screen? Does it work?
Yes, we can.
Nice. So basically, we do have some time left, so we're going to open up for you guys to ask any questions that you want to know about the protocol or from the team or whatever. Feel free. That's your chance now. If you want to discuss something, if you need support.
Maybe could we have time to discuss about the next targeted blockchain Superfluid would be deployed on?
That's a good question. What do you think, Bertrand? Where should we deploy next?
Yeah, but I have a biased opinion because I have a validator node on one of them. So, but yeah, I guess Binance and Celo could be useful. I mean, I would love to promote Superfluid streaming to Binance chain users, and on Celo also it would make sense. So, but it could be a data-driven decision, as you said. So, looking at the most used blockchain, and it has been done for Avalanche, saying that it was the third most used blockchain. So, I think it would make sense to continue on your use blockchain, and maybe also because of partnership. So yeah, I would be happy to help deploying and Binance and Celo to continue on the Avalanche success so far.
Does request have a lot of volumes on Binance and Celo?
On Celo, I think, yes. On Binance, not so much yet, because there was a graph, the graph issues, and maybe still on Binance. But I think it's increasing on Binance because we have still many projects that are asking, more and more projects asking to invoice on Binance. And on Celo, we even listed another stablecoin for the, which is a play on, which also a funny play on words like Michele could understand, because that's a real in Brazil, and when you add the C of Celo, that make cereal.
Okay. I don't know who got the joke, but I thought it was funny. Interesting. So Real from Brazil, and people are actually paying invoices on Celo in Brazilian Real. That's amazing.
Yeah, with their cereal. I mean, their blockchain cereal, of course.
By the way, guys, I think before thinking about what other networks to go to, we should give a huge shout out to Bertrand for deploying us on Avalanche. So thanks, Bertrand, for deploying on Avalanche Superfluid protocol. Now we have a lot of new developers that can build with streaming money directly on that network. So again, thank you. And even more so now that you're offering to continue deployments onto other networks as it's becoming a necessity. So we see that you're becoming a pioneer in our community, and we'll try to at least send you more t-shirts if we can, and invite you over to meet the team soon.
Yeah, thank you. And I will join a THCC in Paris on July. If so, I hope that we'll have more, much more integrated version of request of Superfluid into request. And that's also why I wanted to help deploy Superfluid on Avalanche, because Avalanche is already supported by request. So, I mean, as I develop the Superfluid integration into request, I feel obvious to me that Superfluid should be deployed on all the blockchain supported by request so far. So, because if it's not, it will lower the possibility of using this integration. So I would like to make it as useful as possible.
Of course, and thanks also for, a little bird told me that you're also interested in running Sentinels to keep the protocol secure, which is also awesome. We always look for new Sentinels that are running so that it can secure the protocol. So thanks again for volunteering for that as well.
Yeah, this one I have the more global overview. At the beginning, I was just thinking to deploy the protocol because it was delegated to Avalanche and as announced. But then I thought I could also deploy the super token as I've done on Polygon for the Jarvis Euro or for the request token or proposing event to Fuse. And then I thought, yeah, what's the next step is the Sentinel. So this way it's more complete when you have both the framework, the super token, the Sentinel, and becoming the peak for the Sentinel. So yeah, I think it's
just be careful of not becoming too centralized, Bertrand. Otherwise, we go back to the centralized world because you're running everything yourself.
Exactly. So that's good. It's a good. I think it was a good proof that Superfluid is decentralizing to the community, and that's what I'm looking forward also. What I would like to see happening on request.
Nice. Thank you
guys.
so much.
Do you have any other questions?
Vijay, just tell everybody, Vijay said, anyone is welcome to just suggest a new network in roadmap.superflight.finance. So if you want to suggest a new network, please feel free, and we will have a look into it. Yes, exactly. Thanks, Mike, for the link. And also for those who don't know what Sentinels are, Riz posted an introduction to Sentinels in the chat, so feel free to have a look. Yeah. Any other questions or topics that you wanted to discuss?
Mark, what's going on with OpenSea? Can you tell us what's the latest?
Yeah, good news today, finally. For anyone who doesn't know, the DGen Dogs NFT project disappeared from OpenSea last week. I submitted a support request and heard from them today that we had violated their terms of service, but they didn't really specify why. So I sent a long reply stating, the history of the project and how we launched in October with the hackathon, with some evidence that we sort of predate, any other collections that might be out there. And I also touched on, there's another collection called DGen Dogs that uses the same name. I guess their mainnet launch was before our mainnet launch, but after the testnet launch with the hackathon. So I kind of explained that and highlighted how the two projects have this similar name, but they're, they don't look the same. The artwork's not the same. The theme is different. It would be unlikely for someone to be confused and sort of tricked into, buying the wrong NFTs. And it sounds like that latter argument is sort of what won. And I actually got a fairly quick reply today that sort of confirmed that was the conflict, and it has been reinstated as of a few hours ago. So now it's back on OpenSea. So some good news there. So that hopefully sets the stage for a bit of a reset for the project in terms of initiating some fresh promotional activity, try to expand the community. Bids have gotten quite low. We've even had a few auctions that haven't had bidders, and we're going to use those dogs in promotional efforts. So in the coming days and weeks, we'll start to the next phase, I guess, of the project. Hopefully, we can expand the community and get some more bidders and start building from there. That's the plan.
Yes. One of the things that struck me the most is that they removed your collection, but they left a fake collection.
Yeah, I noted that in my reply that was still there. So I don't know if somebody reported our collection specifically because it's maybe got a bit more exposure than the fake one. But so yeah, kind of funny.
Well, good to hear that it's back online.
Yeah, thanks.
Cool. Any other questions for anybody?
Maybe is there already a plan to integrate, I would say, Superfluid with Aave or any money market that is outside of Polygon?
You said if there's any plans to integrate with Aave?
Yes, I mean, like I was thinking about the fixed rate of Aave would be easy to compute as a Superfluid stream.
Yeah, theoretically, right? Yeah. No, yeah, it's definitely something we would like to see. Actually, in Hack Money, I think we put out a specific bounty for this. Sam, maybe correct me if I'm wrong. I think one of the prizes was an integration.
Yes, it's one of the prizes is streaming into LP positions. So
we also have a lending like best either lending protocol or project that integrates with lending protocol. We don't list Aave specifically. It's more general than that, but I've had multiple people actually propose ideas and I know there are teams working on similar things, right? Even with Aave directly. So we'll see what they produce.
I think we have two possible ways here, Bertrand. One is trying to couple Superfluid streams with the existing DeFi applications like Aave or even exchanges like Uniswap or other lending protocols out there. Another one is to build entirely novel applications that leverage the native value transfer capabilities of the Superfluid protocol. So I think both are options, and probably, I mean, we are interested in both for sure, but we'll see which one will emerge first. Probably it's easier to couple or integrate it with the existing ones to start with to see what the kind of value proposition will look like. But we are definitely open to see the next Aave emerge on top of Superfluid protocol.
There's also one bounty we put with AP Wine, right, Sam? I think AP Wine's a fixed, it's a fixed rate protocol, right? So maybe somebody can figure that one out.
I'm in contact with AP Wine to try to see what I could do with between sort of AP Wine integration with Superfluid, but at least not for the hackathon, but maybe next one or between hackathons, depending on how much time I can put in it. But yeah, would like to see something about having a stream of, maybe that would be also demonstrated tomorrow, about having some kind of stream of salaries, but also a stream of lending would be nice. Or stream of stream of content, but I've not seen that much yet. So yeah, I mean, combining the streaming of token with the streaming of other existing streaming, I think, but maybe it's too innovative or too mind-blowing for most people to use it already. So we might be too in advance or too pioneers.
I think it's a matter of time before someone builds an implementation that's good. We've seen a few at hackathons, right? Lending protocols, borrowing in streams, this kind of stuff. It's actually quite hard to build very well because the math is actually quite complicated around variable interest on streams. But I'm sure at some point there will be a gigabrain that can figure it out. Let's see.
Yeah, a giga team maybe of great.
Yeah, I actually think that some of the ACL features might help with the DeFi related applications because it allows more automation and approvals, right? You can allow a contract to create flows on your behalf and perform operations on your behalf. And that helps, right? A lot of DeFi is built around like the approved transfer from features with ERC20 tokens. And now that we'll have similar features for creating flows and working with streams overall, I think it's going to help. So yeah, if anyone's curious about that, we're going to put out an article on that. I think we were going to do it today, but I think we pushed it back a couple more days. But yeah, there's some new features that we've released on testnets that will allow you to provide other accounts with the ability to create, update, or delete streams on your behalf.
Yeah, and pausing stream also instead of for your, because that's what I'm looking for request also. That's, to be able to close stream for the customer or to schedule the closing, to not require people to have to come back to close the stream manually. Or
yeah, we
have to schedule themselves.
We've talked with Gelato actually a few times on this, and we have a couple of proof of concepts out already. So Vincent actually, I'll send you a link to this and I'll put it in the chat here too in a second. But Vincent on our team built a simple closing feature where you just define a time in the future when you want the stream to be closed. And it'd be very easy for you to just take that and instead of having Gelato close it at a certain time in the future, you just figure you have it close it after the amount streamed between two addresses reaches a certain point, right? So that's going to enable that functionality.
Okay, without needing an operator or ACL or something like this.
Without needing what?
We mean it will be in an integrated feature. Like when you open the stream, you could say you will close the stream when the balance go to zero.
Yeah. So what you do is you create. I don't know what term Gelato uses for it, but you create some kind of automation with Gelato where you, on the Superfluid side, provide the authorization to the address that Gelato is going to use to close the stream. and Gelato can then call a function, and because they're approved and they're the operator on your stream, right? They can actually close it for you.
Okay, nice. And
And
so
yes,
it has already been tested.
Yeah. It's definitely, it's possible. And Chinmay just said in the chat, he wants to do one. Chinmay, I think you could get more advanced than what Vincent built. I mean, I'm not saying what Vincent did is not advanced. It's great, Vincent. You're great. It's still just simple, right? You can build lots of things on top of it, right? Lots of custom things. So, yeah.
Okay, so I should talk with Vincent again later. Cool, let's see. Because I think that's a big feature that would help for the user experience, in my opinion. Like to be able to close automatically the feature when it before it become insolvable or when it's reach zero. It would.
Bertrand, it feels like we could benefit from you spending 5 minutes or so filling out forms in our roadmap.superfluid.finance request for features form, so that we can start strategizing and planning around them as well.
Cool, we have 2 minutes left. Is there anything else someone wants to ask or raise before we end the call for the day?
I have a question. How many of you guys are coming to the summit tomorrow? So as you know, we are running this summit, and it's going to be quite long. It's 4 hours long. We have a lot of events. So yeah, are you planning to attend? How many of you are we going to see? Yeah, so a few of you are coming. Even if, so for some it's not very convenient because it's on a Friday night for European time zones, and it's very late night on Friday for the Indian time zones. It's a bit more friendly for the US folks there and Americans. But yeah, it would still be recorded on YouTube. So if you can't make it, it's not gonna be a big deal. It's just that we would love to hear your feedback on all the content we have kind of planned for those sessions. And we did invite some of the best thinkers and builders in the Web3 economy we could find or we know in our ecosystem. So it would be good to have your feedbacks. So it looks like actually most of you will be there. So that's great to hear. Thanks for attending. And then yes, please do check the agenda. Is all over our Twitter or even on the top of our website. So it should be quite easy, but I'll post the link here so that you can see the full agenda as well.
I did post it.
Let me just find
already.
it.
I have it.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thanks, Vicky.
Good. Ooh. Nice. All right, then I think we are done for today. Thank you all for joining, and definitely hop by tomorrow in the summit, and hope to see you there. And yeah, thank you for all joining today.
Lots of people here today. Thanks for joining, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers. Thanks, Gustavo.
Bye, everyone. See you at the summit, everyone.
See
you soon. Bye.
Bye.